Proposed Washington state legislation may help the city reduce the number of derelict buildings in Tacoma. Artists can submit proposals for a new mural on the hilltop, and May brings celebrations. All that and more on this edition of Tacoma Report. Hello, I'm Lane Fickey. Foreclosures and abandoned homes can create neighborhood blight issues. The city is working on ways to decrease the number of these properties that become derelict. Megan Snow brings us more.
The city, like many municipalities in recent years, has experienced an increase in foreclosures and abandoned homes, which often leads to buildings becoming derelict.
So at any given time in the city of Tacoma, we have approximately 400 open derelict buildings, and those are really a concern for the neighborhood because they drive down property values, and also they're an attractive nuisance where people can get in there and it might cause safety concerns. We do have a very aggressive goal over the next 2 years to reduce the number of derelict buildings by 25% within the city of Tacoma.
Cities have limited tools for mitigating derelict homes when owners abandon them, but that could be changing. The Washington State Legislature has been discussing a bill that would require the Housing Finance Commission to create a process to allow entities such as banks to apply and obtain a certificate of abandonment to more quickly access properties.
Addressing derelict buildings and the time that they're vacant helps with overall neighborhood safety and the perception of safety.
Of course, the best outcome would be for families to stay out of foreclosure. Resources are available through the Washington State Department of Financial Institutions Foreclosure Assistance Program and from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. For Tacoma Report, I'm Megan Snow.
The state legislation could provide cities with more options for reducing the impact of derelict homes on neighborhoods. The health of communities is tied to many factors, and as factors change, so do health outcomes. The Northwest Leadership Foundation's Leaders in Women's Health will host the 2017 Health Equity Summit, which takes place on May 10th at the Star Center, located at 3873 South 66th Street from 11:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. The summit will feature a panel of community consumers, healthcare providers, and those in the community service industry who will talk about how Tacoma and Pierce County are adapting to the changing healthcare climate. For more information or to register, go online. May often brings us a reprieve from the rain, and it also brings us a good excuse to ride our bicycles. Stacy Ellifrit has more on how Bike Month events promote ways to get around on two wheels for fun and transportation.
For the last decade, the city and its partners have presented a month-long list of activities encouraging residents to get out and bike.
Bike Month is a partnership between Pierce Transit, Pierce County, and the city of Tacoma, and it's a month-long event that's really getting people to get excited about biking and throughout the city and throughout the county as a whole, and giving them the resources that they may not otherwise have.
A wide variety of activities and events are designed for people of all ages and skill levels.
It will happen in conjunction with National Bike Month, which is throughout May. And there's two components. One of them is really how we have events throughout the month. So that's actual riding events and events where people can learn about bicycling throughout the community. And then the other component is actually a bike challenge. So this is a Bike Everywhere challenge. People can log their trips on piercetrips.com for an opportunity to win prizes. So that's really, it's a great opportunity to get people to bike to destinations that they may otherwise drive.
Some returning favorites are part of this year's roster, as well as some new themed events that focus on collaboration.
We have Bike Swap that is coming back for the 9th year, so we're really excited about that. In the past, we've had over 1,000 participants. People can come and buy new bikes, used bikes, bike parts. Kids can practice. It's a lot of opportunities at this event. In terms of partnerships, we're working again with the Historic Preservation Department at the city, and we are hosting the Cycles on the Foss, which is an event that's actually a bike ride, family-friendly ride on May 26th in the evening. And it's an opportunity for people to come out and learn about the history and the environmental history of the waterfront in Tacoma.
Whether you bike for conservation or recreation, May is a great time to get out and ride in Tacoma and Pierce County. Enjoy Bike Month, rain or shine, and keep the spirit going beyond the May celebration. For Tacoma Report, I'm Stacy Ellifrit.
Visit the Bike Month page to learn more about these events designed to raise awareness of local bicycle resources. Another project that is focused on increasing mobility year-round is continuing to expand. Construction on Phase 1 of the Prairie Line Trail project is underway, and work has caused some closures to the 15th Street Bridge. Currently, the bridge is closed to pedestrians through June of this year, and reoccurring traffic closures can also be expected through early May. Construction on the trail includes adding new lighting, railing, and refinishing the pedestrian path to better accommodate bicycles. The city's capital projects page has more information on this project, which is working to connect downtown to the waterfront. Up next, we'll speak with Tacoma's new Poet Laureate, Kelly Richardson. Don't miss it. The Tacoma Arts Commission recently named Kelly Richardson as Tacoma's 2017-2019 Poet Laureate, and she's joining me in the studio today to talk about what she hopes to do in her new role and how her past experiences have prepared her. Kelly, thanks for joining us today. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And when we heard the term Poet Laureate, what does that actually mean?
A Poet Laureate, and a lot of people have been exposed to Poet Laureates when we get a new president or there's a new public official of some kind. But in terms of the city of Tacoma, the Poet Laureate really serves to promote literary arts in the community, help cultivate opportunities for people to better understand poetry, feel like it's acceptable, approachable. Poetry is often seen as something that's set far apart or for, you know, the greats of old and things like that. And the Poet Laureate is really here to serve and spread the message that literary arts is very much alive in our community, give voice that those are interested in new projects, and just really lift up the human experience through words.
So you applied for this. First of all, let's find out a little bit about your background. How did you, your experiences help you prepare to actually apply for the job?
Yes, so I am, one of the most important things that made me feel connected to this role is that I was born and raised here. And I currently live in Hilltop. So just being a part of the fabric of this community and understanding the neighborhoods helps. You feel like you can actually lean into it. My background was primarily in higher education, so I worked in student development, and then I also worked in teaching for a while. So everything from writing workshops at Bryant, where my son used to attend. I would do poetry in your pocket workshops, where we worked with 4th and 5th graders and had them pick a poem. All the way to Pacific Lutheran University. I worked in their School of Education for a while in terms of talking with future teachers about how race, class, and gender impact public education and how they lean more into serving students well based on different cultural context and power dynamics. So my background's mainly been in education. Then I shifted to a great role of which I'm still connected with Northwest Leadership Foundation, and they're a nonprofit here in the city that works to cultivate leadership in innovative ways, with whether it's kids that were gang affiliated, AmeriCorps teams, mentoring programs. So that is where I really got more connected and more aware of the city's infrastructure. And that kind of led me up to today. I won't keep babbling, but my background has mainly been in teaching and in nonprofit management, capacity building for different organizations here in the city.
So you will actually take the reins on
Yes.
April 29th, and that'll be passed over to you on a great ceremony taking place at Tacoma Community College.
Yes.
Okay, so you're not actually in the 2-year period yet, but I'm assuming you probably have got some ideas of what you'd like to do in the next couple of months. Can you share some of
Definitely.
those with us?
I'll share one, but you'll
Okay.
have to stay tuned for the rest.
Okay.
One thing in particular that I'm really passionate about and interested in is tapping into the experiences of elders in the community. Oral tradition has always been something, particularly for oppressed or marginalized communities. Oral tradition was a lot of times the only thing people had in terms of preserving culture and history. As someone that I now have I have a 19-year-old and a 13-year-old. So as somebody that's starting to say things like, I don't understand kids these days, it causes me pause because I see a lot of activism in young folks here in Tacoma. But I also know in places like the Black Collective or Korean Women's Association, there is a group of elders in the community as well. And when I see those groups try to interact, sometimes there's some explosions, or sometimes there just feels like there's a divide. So I'm really interested in linking a young adult or a young person in the community with an elder and guiding them through a discussion that talks about and guides them through what's called poetry of witness, which essentially means that the poem not only relays the experience, but it takes on the voice, the flesh and bone of that person, so the reader can really feel like they are walking through the experience as well. So the young adult is there to listen to and engage with the elder, and then we'll go into a process of them actually performing and sharing these stories to really try to link voices and perspectives that sometimes are at odds.
Wow, so we are excited.
Yes.
Especially for this first project to see how this comes together. And as we wrap this up, you're Poet Laureate number
7
for the city
Lucky
of Tacoma.
number 7, yes.
Wonderful. So I look forward to seeing you out and about in the community. I'm sure you'll be on some of the other programs here at TV
Yes.
Tacoma. We'll see you at some of the city council meetings and some of the community events. So Kelly, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
When we come back from the break, we'll get an update on the Lincoln District Revitalization Project. Stay with us. A lot is happening in the Lincoln District. Many residents and business owners recently gathered to hear about the latest updates on the revitalization project in that area. Maria Lee has more in this report.
Excitement's in the air as community members and business owners alike gather to hear the latest and greatest of what's going on right here in the Lincoln District.
The open house gave community members a chance to hear what's been accomplished thus far, see the latest streetscape design, and provide feedback on welcome sign designs.
We've been in business, or have had the business there on 38th Street in Yakima for a year now, and currently I'm looking to move in the area to become a resident of the area, just because I love everything about Lincoln. As far as the revitalization goes, I'm super excited. I'm enjoying how everything is going so far, and being a part of it has been great.
I've been here for about a year and lived in the Lincoln District the entire time. And I love it, and I'm very excited to see all of the revitalization, the changes that are happening.
The Lincoln District Revitalization Project is the city's first effort at implementing a neighborhood model that could be brought to other areas in the future. Streetscape construction is currently projected to begin sometime this summer. For Tacoma Report, I'm Maria Lee.
You can always find the latest information on the Lincoln District Revitalization Project by stopping by the project office or visiting the city's website. Tacoma is proud of its neighborhoods and the diversity of our communities, which is why the city's Office of Equity and Human Rights is working with the Emergency Management Team to review emergency notification policies. Megan Snow brings us more about these efforts in this story.
The city's Office of Equity and Human Rights and Emergency Management Team want to make sure residents, regardless of the language they speak, can get information during emergencies.
It's really important to have a communication plan for their families, and if they can't understand, where to get those supplies or how to get around the city in their language, it would be impossible for them to remain safe in that situation. Last year, as you're probably aware, there were major wildfires in Okanagan as well as Pierce County, and we realized that we were painfully unprepared to translate to those individuals who really needed that emergency information. And in addition to that, last year we participated in Cascadia Rising, which was a regional exercise to respond to a major earthquake and possible tsunami. And throughout that exercise, we realized we had some huge gaps, and one of them is our ability to reach out to people with limited English proficiency.
The city's efforts are in line with a currently proposed bill in the state legislature this session, Senate Bill 5046, which would mandate communications plans for life safety information or information that reduces a person's risk of harm during an emergency address this need. For Tacoma Report, I'm Megan Snow.
For more information about the city's commitment to equity, visit the website. A month-long celebration of Tacoma's rich history is happening this May. The community is invited to participate in Historic Preservation Month, where a full lineup of events have been created to honor the connection the community has with our local waterfront.
So this year we have a lot of events that reflect our maritime theme. One is the Amazing Preservation Race. This year the course has been changed to reflect the waterfront theme. We also have our award ceremony that will feature a maritime-based walking tour that starts in Old Town. And some new events are Cycles on the Foss, an environmental history bike tour, which is a partnership with Bike Month, and our Puyallup Tribe Reservation Tour because of the tribe's connection with the waterfront.
The focus of this programming is to show how the city's history and culture is an important asset.
Historic preservation is very important to Tacoma. It protects its unique character as well as its economic vitality and its diverse history. We've also really seen a rebirth of Tacoma's history and interest in its history. We've seen so much great programming from all of our local museums, Tacoma Historical Society, Historic Tacoma, and our Heritage League.
This year's events encourage residents from all ages, cultures, and neighborhoods to show their love for Tacoma's historical sites. Visit the city's website for more information. Tacoma artists and/or artist teams are invited to apply for 2 artwork project opportunities at Valhalla Hall. These include the creation of an exterior mural on 2 walls of the covered courtyard, which serves as the entryway into the building, and transforming the entry gate into a beautifully designed work of art.
The Tacoma Community Redevelopment Authority purchased the Valhalla Hall property out of foreclosure in an effort to jumpstart revitalization efforts along the MLK corridor. Drawing inspiration from the Hilltop Sub-Area Plan, this catalytic project is the first mixed-income development located along the corridor and has already served to foster private and nonprofit development activities.
Vacant since 2009, the Hilltop Sub-Area Plan had identified Valhalla Hall as a key location for revitalization. For more information and to apply, go to the city's website. Stay tuned because when we return, we'll learn about a local organization that gives back in many ways. Most people are familiar with the retail side of Goodwill, but you may not know of the programs and services that are funded with the money raised from the thrift stores. In the first of a 2-part series, we look at 2 programs that are helping many people not only find jobs, but are also creating great careers. Goodwill of the Olympics and Rainier region has developed an outstanding reputation for helping people learn career skills. The barista program that's offered is a prime example. This 16-week course in their youth job training program for those aged 16 to 24 teaches these students about the world of coffee, everything from how lattes and cappuccinos are made to what it takes to run a cafe.
We're learning how to work with the coffee and how to grind and tamp, and we learn about how coffee is made and how it's roasted and, you know, just everything you can learn about coffee. I didn't know I would get as many opportunities because, like, the managers, they really care about you and they make sure that you have everything you need.
Goodwill also helps with job placement when students complete these programs, and that's a big selling point for those in the culinary school. This is a hands-on program where those involved learn the skills needed to get entry-level food service jobs.
Everybody that comes into the program is at different levels as far as if they already worked in the culinary field or not. So if it's for somebody like that hasn't worked in a while, it gets you ready to start being back in the field again. We start at about 8 o'clock in the morning and the service is at 11. So we have from 8 to 11 to prepare soup, get the salad bar ready. We have a daily special, and then we also have a pantry station that makes sandwiches to order. For me, it's been a life-changing experience, and as well for a lot of the people here. I was unemployed and kind of displaced a little bit, and kind of deciding what the next step. Been one of the best decisions in my life to actually come and complete this program.
In addition to learning about food preparation and cooking for the neighborhood bistro, which is inside the Goodwill location on 27th Street in Tacoma, they also gain knowledge in cashiering, customer service, safety, and sanitation. The neighborhood bistro at Tacoma Goodwill is one of the area's best kept secrets. Not only does it have an amazing culinary school, the kitchen is also open to the public, and it's a great place to have lunch. For Tacoma Report, I'm Lane Fickey. In terms of training, the barista and culinary programs are only a small part of what Goodwill offers to the community. We'll highlight several other programs in the next episode of Tacoma Report. The recruitment effort to fill the city manager vacancy left by T.C. Broadnax in January is underway. The community will have an opportunity to provide input during the selection process, which is expected to occur in the coming weeks. City Attorney Elizabeth Pauley is currently serving as interim city manager until the position is filled. The city and Sound Transit are considering ways to expand outreach to the community along the Tacoma Link expansion corridor. The Links to Opportunity project will help ensure that people who live and work in the expansion areas are represented. The city is now accepting proposals to support this effort.
We want to have as much community input into the design as far as looking at historic features that need to be emphasized, landscape, lighting, street furniture, benches, those sort of things. So we want to start with the community and have that input control what we come up with in the design.
The request for proposal is available at tacomapurchasing.org. Metro Parks Tacoma recently enlisted the help of volunteers from all over Tacoma in using digital technology to get more people involved in parks and recreational activities. City of Tacoma staff were among those who participated. Maria Lee has the story.
Yeah, extra settings that you can set. That's a good idea. Like,
oh, do we have the picture that I...
Connecting people with parks.
Just add a README file.
That's what this new generation of volunteers aimed to do during this two-day hackathon. City of Tacoma information technology staff joined local and regional tech talent as they work to help bridge the digital divide for community members.
My team's role is to build citizen engaging application. You know, how we can engage citizens of Tacoma, bring technology, and how we can provide civic services through technology. Somebody shared one time with me that really resonated with me was it's not about doing your job for citizens, it's doing job with citizens. So that's why I'm here.
It'll be like there's a logo on the top.
When you have geographic information systems, digital cartography, database, data science, information architecture, game design, and web development experts all in one room, strategically digging into all sorts of data to create digital tools to increase community access and engagement, great things are bound to happen. For Tacoma Report, I'm Maria Lee.
Metro Parks is hoping the event will generate mobile apps, interactive calendars and notification tools, as well as other digital information platforms. That's all the time we have on this edition of Tacoma Report. A great way to find out about the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org. Until next time, I'm Lane Fickey.